I reckon I'll take a break from progressing any further in the game. And go ahead and do a little bit of grinding. And while I do a little bit of grinding, I do a little testimony type video where I can be able to. I'm not going to add this to the Final Fantasy playthrough list. It's just going to go through to, I guess, to my testimony list. I guess I'll make a playlist of it. I got another testimony video that I hadn't uploaded besides the original one that I did upload. And, I just feel like, some things some people could be asking questions about. They could be like, is this person telling the truth? Are they lying? Or is there a possibility that they might be crazy? And well, I'm telling the truth to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge, in everything that I say, all the time. Being autistic, telling lies doesn't really sit well with me, and you'd be able to tell. Like, seriously, I've tried lying about different things in the past, and I really suck at lying. Like, every time I lie, people be like, oh, he's lying, he's full of crap. Not saying that every time that anyone's ever accused me of lying, I've been lying. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I'm not even good at lying, just put it like that. Whenever I was going through my divorce against my wife and I got called up to the stand and all that, I didn't have any kind of lawyer or anything to be able to try to help me because I figured I'd just stand on my own truth and tell the truth about everything. And I told the truth, and the judge could be able to tell that I wasn't lying, and like I'd say I did pretty well in my divorce case, considering the fact that my ex-wife had hacked my emails, sent death threats to herself, and she's deleted my email account, which sucks. It deleted my YouTube account that I had at the time, at kdrichardson84@gmail.com, which really sucks because that's something that I could really use in this particular video as I tell this part. Back whenever they removed Donald Trump from off of everything, they here, hold on just 1 second. Sorry, I had a phone call. Alright, what was that? Oh yeah, my YouTube account, I got deleted, and I could have used that still being in existence so I could be able to prove this next bit of my testimony that I'm about to tell about how back in 2020 I had left a comment on Donald Trump's YouTube. Oh yeah, I was saying about how Donald Trump had been removed from off social media. He'd been removed from off of the YouTube. His YouTube account had been shut down. His X account and everything else has been shut down after January the 6th of 2021. So a lot of that stuff got locked down and it got removed. And they it wouldn't be reestablished. They reinstated. That's the word. I don't know. I was drawing a blank. All right, they reinstated his accounts, and with it, I'm pretty sure that different comments and everything that were around back then were reinstated. But the thing is that mine wasn't reinstated. My one comment, which I'm about to go into the details about in just a moment, get the backstory for when it is that why it is that I did it when I did it and everything else. Alright. So back in 2011, after my mother had died, I was 26 years old. This is one reason why I often say that people don't really know what they want to do until they're like 25, 26 years old anyways. That your brain isn't through fully developing until after you are 25, 26 years old is when the brain finishes developing. Up until then, it's still developing. Some people are more mature than other people at that point. Some people are less mature. I myself am currently 41 years old. And I'm pretty sure that in many ways, my son, who's about to be 18 years old, is more mature than I am in a lot of different ways. Because sometimes he'll sit there and he'll argue with me about different stuff and be like, Dad, that's not how things work. And it's like, yeah, I know it's not how it works, but they should. That's how they should work. Yeah. After my mom had died, and I was in there one day and I had like a really lucid, vivid dream, vision, whatever you want to call it. And 2011, mind you, 2011. In my dream, I met with Donald Trump. He was the president of the United States, and he was giving me an award for having saved a bunch of different people's lives. And he asked me if there was anything else that I'd want besides the reward or the award that he gave me for saving different people's lives. And I told him, I said, well, I've always wanted to get into politics. And the thing is this. That's not true. In that dream, when I said that was not true, I had never had any intention or any dreams or any aspirations of getting into politics, because like I feel like people are too much trouble to try to, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I've never had any aspirations up to that point of getting into politics, and even now I have no desire to lead in that form or fashion that is in politics. I thought for a long time there that I wouldn't mind getting into politics. That's right, that's what I'm just sitting over here. Mine's off. But I thought for a time that I wouldn't mind getting into politics so that I could be able to try to help to spread the word of God through politics by having to enact certain policies and having to they redefine certain laws to be able to clarify certain laws so that it could be more definitive towards Christian benefit and towards law of God, so that things would line up more and match with the word of God and the will of God, so that we as a nation could be able to be a Christian nation and be able to be more in line with the will of God, so that He would find more favor in us, so that we can be able to prosper that much more. But I see that this world is pretty much hell-bound. There's not a whole lot that I could say or do that would really have any real bearing on the final destination of the world. Like, it's already pre-written, it's been preordained or whatever, that certain things are going to happen, and there's nothing I can do to be able to try to stop them. And for a long time in my life, I had hoped to be able to do certain things, to be able to put off the end of time, to be able to put off the events of Revelation. But it all happens in God's own time. And like, there's nothing that I can do that will stop it. There's nothing I can do that will prevent it. And it will come whenever He wants it to come, regardless. I had always hoped to be able to try to do things to be able to make it so that it'd be less likely to happen in our time, but I just have a strong feeling that it will be happening in my lifetime. But yeah, enough of that rambling. after I awoke from that dream where I was like, I've always wanted to get into politics, I took that to mean that I needed to get into politics, to actually pay attention to politics. And so I started paying attention to politics. And then in 2016, Donald Trump got elected president. And I was staying focused, paying attention to politics. And, very attentive on politics. And in 2019, at the end of 2019, I was watching news from all sorts of news sources. I was watching NTD, China in Focus, the Epoch Times, Sky News Australia, Sky News Britain, Great Britain News. I was watching Fox News. Not so much of the CNN, MSNBC, or any of that, because they always try to spin things a certain way, and not so much of the Fox News either, because of the fact that Fox News like to spin certain things certain ways. There were certain shows on Fox News that I like to watch just for the entertainment value of it, like Tucker Carlson and Greg Gutfeld were always pretty good. But like so far as just generally watching the news from those, they always try to spin things certain ways so they reflect better towards the politics or towards the political party that they're most aligned with. And I was more about trying to get the true news of everything. And true enough, I've always been more in line with the conservative Republicans. And I admit I didn't like I did not like George W. Bush, so much so that I actually voted for John Kerry back in 2004 whenever I was just turned 20 years ago, I guess. What year was it? How old? Yeah, it's because I was born in 84, and then I just turned 20 years old. So I mean, I was still stupid. I just got through saying, y'all really know what you want to do with your life until you're like 25, 26 years old. I'm still pretty stupid. That's the reason why it is that I voted for John Kerry over George W. Bush. I mean, I don't know. It's all about the same. They were all in line with each other. It's a uniparty. That's the reason why I liked Donald Trump, though. He's the only president that I ever voted for that I actually wanted to vote for. And all the rest of them, it was just a matter of, like, flip a coin. Pretty much. Because they were all in line with each other. But Donald Trump, he's an outsider. He's a wild card. And that's the reason why it is that I voted for him. It was because of the fact that I knew that if anybody was going to get anything done to be able to change the way that things were going, it would be Donald Trump. And they have fought tooth and nail to try to keep him from being able to get anything accomplished. But like what I was saying, I was keeping up with all the news, and I saw the reports about. All right, let me preface this, I suppose, with the. All right, I like whenever I go to the doctor's appointments and stuff like that. I've always liked looking at different science magazines, nature magazines, tech magazines, and stuff like that they have. Popular Mechanics, Smithsonian, National Geographic, various other sources of news, science and stuff like that, educational type magazines and stuff that they have at doctors' offices. I never really get too much into it. Like, I mean, I like the car and driver magazines and stuff like that also, like looking at different cars and stuff like that. But I never really got into like Sports Illustrated or any of that stuff because, like, well, I was an athlete whenever I was younger and I was quite good at football and soccer and stuff. I never really it's about useless right here. But I never really liked watching other people play. Like, it's all there is to it. It's like I'd much rather be playing the sport than be watching somebody else play the sport. But So like, I would look at different science stuff and everything, because I've always had a unending, unquenchable thirst for more knowledge. Like, I've always wanted to learn more and more and more. And it gives me a greater appreciation for one thing of God's creation, you know. But aside from that, though, I don't know. It's just like unending thirst. Like, I'm like the opposite of a savant. Like, see, I have Asperger's syndrome, a form of autism, but yeah, these different people that are called savants, where they'll learn everything that there is to know about a particular thing. Like, you have a lot of different autists that are like, they know a lot about trains. Or jets. I met one time at the library. He could tell you everything about every type of jet that there is. He could tell you everything about what Chuck Yeager was doing on whatever day that was in 1947, whenever he first broke the sound barrier. He could tell you just everything about jets. He's a savant. He had like a strong thirst for knowledge about everything to do with one particular thing. I'm kind of the opposite of that. Like, I have an unending, unquenchable thirst for knowledge about everything in general. And like, that's the reason why it is back whenever I was younger, I had an IQ that was tested as 167. I remember whenever I was like in 5th grade, I think it was, and my IQ was only 155. And they were talking about putting me in LED classes because of the fact, something to do with, like, during the individualized education plan that they had for me, they were talking about that since my IQ was 155, but my output, I don't know how they measure all this and everything, but my output was only 131. They said it was a greater than 20-point difference between what my potential was and what my actual output was, which meant that I must have been having some kind of a disability or something going on. And I was like, I was still doing 31 points above average, right? I was like, I'm just trying to fit in. I'm not trying to be like super smart or anything. I'm not trying. Anyhow. Where was I going with all this? Oh yeah. So back to what I was saying about the magazines. I remember reading back in, like, I think it was in 2008, 2009, there was a magazine article I had read about them working on a biological lab over in Wuhan, China, where they were making a level 3 biolab or whatever, and that the United States, France, and China were all doing it as a joint venture or whatever. And I'm like, huh. That's kind of troubling, because of the fact that I know how people are. They have a tendency of trying to play God because they're that dumb. And I remember seeing something, I think it was in 2013, 2014, where they were talking about that China had kicked France out of the whole deal. I remember seeing an article on that. And then in 2016, I saw an article, I think it was in Nature Magazine or Smithsonian or something, where they were over there talking about the coronavirus, the bat coronavirus lady, the woman in China, the Chinese woman that had plans to be able to gather these different coronaviruses from these different bats, and they could be able to use them to be able to, I think they actually used the words gain of function in that, so they could be able to develop a vaccine to be able to fight against the coronaviruses, so that they could be able to cure the common cold, because it's a coronavirus, and that they could be able to make like a super vaccine. And actually made a post on Facebook about it at that time in my science group that I was a member of, cosmology. About how this was not going to end well, that it's going to end bad. It's back in 2016. And, yeah, fast forward to 2019, whenever I heard reports about the virus that had been released in Wuhan, China. They were talking about it. And, they believed that it was from the wet market. And people had ate something. They got them sick. And somebody brought up about the bats. And I was like, bats? Wuhan? That's right down the road from, or that's in the same place as where the biolab was that they were talking about doing research on these different coronaviruses from bats. I was like, they've had an accidental leak of one of these viruses that I was saying back in 2016 that we're going to end up making and end up causing so much trouble with. And so, I started seeing the reporting on it and everything, and at that time, the reporting on it was suggesting that the death rate was around 6.8. I think 6.4, 6.8% of the people that I was seeing at that time that were being affected, that were dying. So I was like, yeah, you know, if you extrapolate that number, it'll come out to being something like 300 plus million people across the world were going to die with it at that particular strain. And I didn't realize that they had engineered the virus to make it so that it would mutate in such a way that it did, though. I was right. Keena's thing, wherever he petrifies anybody, it does make it so you don't get any experience from it. But I didn't, because it had to have been engineered specifically so that it would mutate as quickly as it did, and it become weaker and weaker. I mean, it's the only thing that can really explain why it is that it was mutating as quickly as it was. So, anyhow, I didn't realize that it wasn't going to be as bad constantly as what it was at first. But I still was watching these different news reports on it, and like I wasn't seeing anything being done, because at the time Donald Trump was busy with the whole quid pro quo impeachment BS that they had him having to deal with because of the phone call with Volodymyr Zelensky, where he was asking him to check into Joe Biden, saying that he had threatened to hold or withhold $1 billion of funding to Ukraine if they didn't fire that prosecutor, which everyone knows about all of this. Anyhow, hey, he was being tied up with all that crap, and nothing was getting done, nothing was being said or anything about the coronavirus. And so I went ahead and posed a message to him. Said for his YouTube channel, I said, I don't know if you're the president or if you're just one of the people that work for the president, one of his assistants or whatever. I was like, but if you could be able to get this message to the president, it would be greatly appreciated. Because this right here seems like it's something very serious. And then I had included links to different news reports about the virus going on. And then waited until he posted a new video. He posted a new video onto his YouTube channel. And then I waited until he commented on it. Went ahead, went to newest. Kept going back and forth to top, newest. And it came up with his comment just as soon as he commented. And I went ahead and I replied with a paste. And I pasted drafted comment that I had made to him. And then a few minutes later, he replied back to me. And you know how you can tell the difference between whenever it's the channel content creator or whatever, and somebody that's just like a bot or whatever that's pretending to be, you know, whatever. It was him. said, thanks, I'll check it out. And I said, thank you. And I gave him a salute. And then, pretty sure it was the next day. If it wasn't the next day, it was the day after that. That he went ahead and shut down travel from China, South Africa, and Italy, I believe it was. If I remember correctly. He had the press conference going on talking about why he was shutting down travel. And then a lot of other countries around the world, they all followed suit. They started shutting down travel to make it so keep the virus from spreading. Which I think they made the biggest difference. There's no telling how many people's lives got saved by having it so the virus got slowed down in that particular way. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, that helped a lot too. But then after that, everything that followed that was really unnecessary. And they actually used the virus and the panic around the virus to have it said they stole the election in 2020. And I even said so back in 2020. I pointed out that there was about a 17 million vote discrepancy. And then in 2024, in the election stream I did on Handy News on Rumble, you can listen to me as I talk about the discrepancy and that there was going to be about 17 million votes difference. Once all the numbers and everything finally finished rolling in and everything, we were like at 22 million vote difference right then. I was like, it's going to come down to about 17 million votes difference between 2020 and 2024. I was like, because I've been telling y'all ever since 2020 that they added 17 million votes to the election in order to be able to steal the election for Joe Biden. And odds are I'm probably going to end up having to edit this video down and chop out this part that I'm speaking about right now. If somebody gets butthurt about me stating facts. But these are facts. These are things that happen. And the good thing about it, the best thing about this, is that this can help to be able to give that much more strength to my testimony video that I already made. My testimony video that I'm probably going to release before this particular testimony video, the testimony video part 2 where I explain about 9/11. And then this video right here, because Donald Trump, the President of the United States, can verify that I did, in fact, under the name Katie Richardson 84 or Kevin Richardson, one of them. I'm not sure exactly what my moniker was on YouTube at the time. I've always gone by my name with everything I do, except for on Rumble whenever I was going under the name of Army Kevin for so long. And the only reason why I did the name Army Kevin was because of the fact that I couldn't use Kevin Richardson, because Kevin Richardson was my original Rumble account name. And whenever my ex-wife hacked all my emails and everything, I lost access to that particular account, which I think I had like 30,000 likes on that one at the time. I don't know. It's not a lot, all things considered, but like considering the fact I didn't have any kind of content up and it was just me making comments on different videos, making good points that people agreed with, that they put likes on, and that does kind of imply a lot there, because there was a lot of people that were liking what I had to say. But the thing is this: Donald Trump can verify this. So I mean, anybody that wants to really show him this video and be like, hey, did this really happen? Please. Please. Because I do kind of want to meet with him so I can be able to get that reward that I had that dream about. I could really use it. And then also this would help me out a lot with everything just in general. So people would be more likely to believe me whenever I'm sitting there telling the truth as I am. Anyhow, I reckon this is about enough grinding right now. I've been grinding for 30-ish minutes. I know it's right here at 30 minutes. It's been recording by me. I haven't been grinding the whole time. Part of the time I was just fooling around as I'm sitting here relaying this story to you about different things that happened. They could require a fair amount of my concentration. So, I mean, I was killing time and using up time and not using it quite wisely for the progress on this game. But at the same time, though, I'd say that it was wisely used to be able to get across to you a story of my testimony of something else that happened that had a major impact in this world. That was a message delivered to me from God. See, it could be able to help people to not die and everything. Which is, you know, the way that God does. He does give messages to certain people. I'm not gonna sit here and claim to be like some kind of a prophet or anything. I'm definitely not any saint. But God works through everyone. And sometimes it's the most broken of us that he'll work through. And I've been pretty broken through all the different things that's happened in my life. And so, I mean, it is what it is. And anyhow, I'm about to go ahead and save this game. Get ready to go ahead and make another video of me progressing further into this game. And then Magdalene Forest. Yeah. I just want to tell you, I pray that everyone who hears this message should be encouraged to believe in God, to understand that God works in ways that we cannot really understand. It doesn't say it in the Bible that God works in mysterious ways, but he definitely works in some peculiar ways to use someone like me to be able to spread the word in the way that I'm spreading it, and to be able to use someone like me to affect the different changes that I've affected over time. It's been very small changes for the most part, but and there's no real way for us to be able to gauge or to get a good idea of how much of an impact it was that him knowing about the coronavirus whenever he learned about it and everything it had on the world. But I say this. If I wasn't the first person to have warned him about the coronavirus, if he already knew about the coronavirus at that time and he just wasn't doing anything about it, that's pretty screwed up. But as far as I know, I'm the one that let him know about the coronavirus, and it was after that that he went ahead and did things which changed the course of history as far as I can tell. Anyhow, I'm just a nobody though. I'm not sitting there trying to say that there's anything special about me or anything like that. I'm just a nobody. I'm just a tool that was ready to be used and willing to be used, and I was used. And that's one thing we have to be, is open and ready whenever we're called to do certain things or whatever, for whatever reason, that we should be willing to go ahead and do them. As it says in Ezekiel, if you're called to save someone and you don't save them, then their blood is on your hands. If you're called to save someone, you try to save them and they refuse to be saved, that's on them. As you're called to save someone, you tell them they're saved, then that's a blessing for everyone. God bless. Any prayer requests, leave them in the comment section and I'll pray for you. Any questions or comments to be made otherwise, I'll also speak back with you. I don't have a problem with communicating back with you. Anybody that has any kind of hate, or not necessarily hate, but anybody that Anybody wants to troll or start some mess with me or whatever, I'm always happy to deal with that because I like a little bit of argument every so often. It's pretty enjoyable. Maybe it'd be a little bit more fun on Rumble, but at the same time, though, it is what it is. Like I can speak freely enough and be able to allude to certain things on here to be able to. I can talk crap clean enough for YouTube, I think, as long as you're not all butthurt and decide that you want to try to report me, and then I have to deal with the thing going through clarifying that I, in fact, am not guilty of violating any rules, and then it leaves me blocked off from being able to comment on YouTube for a little while, like I tend to have happen every so often whenever I'm dealing with different people. But anyhow, yeah, have a great day and take it easy.